Good day, grade 7 learners. This is Super Mom Z, and welcome to Sci-Amazing Learning Videos. Previously, we discussed the occurrence of different atmospheric phenomena such as land and sea breezes, monsoons, and intertropical convergence zone. In today's video, we will talk about Earth's tilted axis and its effects. Let's start. Most essential learning competency. The learners should be able to relate the tilt of the Earth to the length of daytime and the seasons. Before we start, are you familiar with the different seasons? Try to name the following. Name this season. Correct. This season, characterized by coldness and snow, is winter. How about this one? Name this season. Right. This season, when leaves color change and fall, is autumn or fall. Name this season. Yup, the warmest time of the year, summer. Finally, which season is called the season of new beginnings when plants start to grow? Wonderful, it's springtime. Of course, in the Philippines, we only have two seasons, wet and dry, and this is due to the location of our country in the equator. However, in temperate countries, they experience 4 seasons. Have you ever thought why there are different seasons? Let us find out in today's video. Did you know that Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees on its axis? This tilt affects everything from length of daytime to seasons. Let us review for a bit. What do you call the movement of the Earth on its axis? Yes, it is called rotation. Our former science teacher said that one full rotation takes almost 24 hours. To be exact, that is 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. What happens to that nearly 4 minutes? This mismatch is because the Earth rotates more than 360 degrees to line up with the Sun again each day. It rotates from west to east direction, which appears counterclockwise when viewed from above the North Pole. This movement causes day and night. We get day and night because of Earth's rotation on its axis. When half of the Earth is facing the Sun, that half experiences daytime. The other half not reached by the light rays experiences nighttime. Because the Sun is so big compared to the Earth, only the rays that come straight at Earth will hit it. These are called direct rays. Because the Earth is curved, not all rays hit it directly. Light rays that hit the Earth at an angle are known as indirect rays. Which part of the Earth is warmest? Areas of the Earth that are hit by direct rays are the warmest. The equator is always hit by direct rays of the Sun. This is why it is always warm in there. The poles are always being hit by indirect rays. That is why it is cold there. Now looking at this diagram, which receives more sun rays, Northern or Southern Hemisphere? Fantastic! Southern Hemisphere receives more sun rays, making daytime longer there. Take a look at this table showing the time of sunrise and sunset on a selected day of each month of the year 2011. When was the length of daytime the longest? It's on June 22, 2011. How about when was the length of daytime the shortest? Right, it happened on December 22, 2011. As you have noticed, the length of daytime varies for each month, having the longest daytime during the months of March to May or June and slowly decreasing from that time to December. Moving on, what do you call the movement of the Earth around the Sun? Good job! Revolution. It takes 365 days, 5 hours, 59 minutes, and 16 seconds for the Earth to revolve around the Sun. That is why we have a leap year every 4 years. The Earth revolves from west to east direction. Countries located further north or south of the equator get to experience 4 different seasons. We call this the temperate zone. These are the countries located 23.5 degrees to 66.5 degrees north and south latitudes, like Japan, Korea, USA, and Canada. Earth has seasons because its axis is tilted. Throughout the year, different parts of the Earth receive sun's most direct rays. Around June 21 to 22 of each year, the Earth's axis is tilted toward the Sun. At this time of the year, the Sun shines directly on the Northern Hemisphere and indirectly on the Southern Hemisphere. This is the summer solstice and marks the beginning of the summer season at the north of the equator. Summer is usually the warmest and sunniest time of the year. Fruit grows on trees and plants. Young animals grow bigger and stronger. While it is summer in the Northern Hemisphere, it is winter in the Southern Hemisphere. By the month of September, the sun shines equally on the Southern and Northern Hemispheres. This month marks the beginning of autumn in the Northern Hemisphere and spring in the Southern Hemisphere. On September 22 or 23, the length of day and night is equal everywhere on Earth. This is called Autumnal Equinox. During autumn, the leaves change color and fall from the trees. Some animals collect food before winter comes. By December, the Earth reaches half of its path around the Sun. The Northern Hemisphere is now tilted away from the Sun. The Sun shines directly on the Southern Hemisphere and indirectly on the Northern Hemisphere. December 21 or 22 is the winter solstice, and it marks the beginning of winter in the Northern Hemisphere. During this time, countries in the Northern Hemisphere experiences longer nights than days. The weather is cold, and in some places there's snow. Plants and trees stop growing. Some animals, like bats and bears, find places to hide and sleep. This is called hibernation. While it is winter at the north of the equator, it is summer at the south of the equator. As the Earth continues to revolve, it reaches 3/4 of its path around the Sun in the month of March. Just like in September, the Sun shines equally on the Southern and Northern Hemispheres. The length of day and night is equal at this time everywhere on Earth. March 20 or 21 marks the spring equinox, and this is the beginning of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. During spring, the weather gets warmer and sunnier. Trees and plants start to grow. Many animals have their babies in spring. While it is spring in the Northern Hemisphere, it is autumn in the Southern Hemisphere. Within a year, we experience 2 solstices and 2 equinoxes. And these are all due to the tilt of the Earth, its revolution around the Sun, and its spherical shape. Moving on, let us now check if you really understand the lesson. Let us evaluate your learning. It's evaluation time. Choose the correct answer for each question. Question number 1. Why does the length of daytime vary from place to place? Is it A, Earth rotates on its axis? B, Earth revolves around the sun? C, Earth's axis is perpendicular? D, Earth's axis is tilted by 23.5 degrees. Good. The answer is letter D. Earth's axis is tilted by 23.5 degrees. Question number 2. Why is it warmest at the equator? A, it is closest to the sun. B, it receives direct sunlight. C, it has no cloud formation. D, it has little precipitation. You got it, it's letter B. It receives direct sunlight. Question number 3. Which statement is true about the diagram? A, Northern Hemisphere receives more sunlight. B, Southern Hemisphere receives more sunlight. C, both hemispheres receive the same amount of sunlight. D, Northern Hemisphere experiences longer daytime. Based on the diagram, we can see that the Southern Hemisphere receives more sunlight. The correct answer is letter B. Question number 4. Which season is characterized by changing of color and falling of leaves? A, summer. B, spring. C, winter. D, autumn. Nice, it is letter D, autumn. Lastly, when does day and night equal in duration? Is it A, summer solstice? B, autumnal equinox? C, winter solstice? Or D, spring equinox? Both B and D are correct. During autumnal equinox and spring equinox, day and night are equal in duration. Did you get them all? Let me give you a high five. And that's all for our lesson today. I hope you are able to relate Earth's tilt to the length of day and night and seasons. Thank you for watching this Amazing episode. See you again next time. Bye!